Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hello, 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 and welcome to another splendid edition of the program, Ashford Garley Live, on this beautiful Monday night as we come to you from Lansdowne, PA. First off, as always, Father God, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for the blessings you have bestowed upon my life. You have provided me with more than I could ever have imagined. With that, I want to say thank you. You have surrounded me with people who always look out for me. With that, also, I'd like to say thanks. You have given me family and friends who bless me every day with kind words and actions. With that, I want to say thank you. Father, we give you praise. We appreciate you. We magnify your name. Blessed be your holy name forever. In the name of Jesus, we have given thanks and we have prayed. Folks, this is yours truly. The brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia. The broadcast commissioner. Ashford the Giant, the now you know me Garley. Welcome. Well, tonight we have a full house. First, as always, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts, who will in fact give us some housekeeping rules here tonight. Mrs. Roberts, if you can pick up a signal, I want you to join us. Now, in the meantime, as we wait for Mrs. Roberts, I'd like to say hi to Mr. James D. Finney. James, how you doing, my brother? It's been a minute. Jeremiah Jackson, hello. Silla Afuanan. Mr. Philip Basua is also in the building. In the meantime, we want to go to Letty Brooks Roberts as she feels.
Ashford, how are you?
About event happening tonight. I'm better than good. As always, Mrs. Roberts. How are you yourself?
It is great to see you. I'm doing well. I'm happy to see you.
Okay.
I'm glad you're feeling better. We thank God for another opportunity to serve our people. You know you are the hottest thing on Facebook. When you're not here, hearts are broken, okay?
Thank you.
We have competition.
I know.
You are the leading competition among the competition. So when you're not here, the broadcast area is a little dead. But it's great to see you all. We want to welcome our guests. We want to welcome our studio guests as well as our guests out in Radioland. We say good evening. Welcome to another exciting edition of Bridge Radio Africa, Bridge Radio YouTube channel, and Bridge Radio on Instagram. it is great to have you all back. As I know I miss him, so I know you miss him. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. He's none other than Ashford, the giant, the man of the Facebook channel, who it's not about the news, it's not even about the entertainment, it's just something he does that bridges the gap on Facebook and on YouTube. So we want to welcome you all tonight. As you get comfortable, we ask you to please come in, make yourselves comfortable on a Monday night. There are other entertainment, other things going on, but we are here to entertain you, bring you the happiness, the hot topics, the Congo country divide continues. We have our ladies waiting and our special guests in the back. Please make yourselves comfortable. Grab your drink of choice and or your meal of choice. Please grab a snack. But here are a few house rules. We ask that you please be respectful of our host, be respectful of our studio and panelists. Most importantly, please be respectful of each other. What you write is just as important as what you say. So to do write something that will elevate, not hinder. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Thank you. Before we introduce our guests, can you please welcome our viewers from the checklist there to see who's watching and what do they have in store for us tonight?
Sure. Yes, we want to say welcome to Bernice Munley. She says, hello, brother. We have Ulysses Dennis watching. Sela Afua Na, the man with the beautiful radio voice. Miniko John says, hello, great man. Musa Vadrona is watching. Hawa Sony, hello, Ashford. I'm watching from Minnesota. Beatrice Monla says, welcome back. Beatrice also says, we miss you. And Philip Paswa, he's here. Hello there, says L. Roberts. Wellington Weir says, welcome back, brother. And those are the trending comments. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for coming back.
Okay. Now, we'd like to introduce our panelists tonight. Let us begin with our sister, Mrs. Grace Corrington Goa. Mrs. Goa, hello and welcome to the show. You might want to unmute your device, please.
Hello, Mr. Garley. Thank you for having me. Hi, Letty. How are you?
And Letty, let me bring this to you. I saw Grace for the first time a couple of weeks ago since the 80s. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, Facebook makes things look like, you see the person every day. But since 87 or 88, I saw Grace for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I drove to York, PA. She has a very beautiful home. I met her husband and her kids. I surprised her. It was like 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning. And she said, where are you? I said, I'm at your house. She said, Ashford, stop playing. So I described the vehicles in the driveway. She said, oh, Ashford, you're for real. Right away, she called Vera. And the next thing you know, I was welcomed. And I promised to go back there, or just happy to see my sister for first time in a long time. Welcome, Grace.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to see you too, Ashford. And you look very, very good. I know you were expecting to see the skinny Grace, and then you saw, the Grace with everything in proportion already, right?
Sometimes the camera can be deceiving,
Oh, okay. So how did I look to you then?
You look great, fantabulous.
Thank you.
Thank
you. That's a gentleman for you.
We'd like to welcome Mrs. Harding Added. Vera, welcome to the show, sis.
Thank you, Ashford. Good evening to the audience. Good evening to everybody. I'm glad to be this evening.
Okay, we got three ladies. I'm not going to be here alone, so let me invite the Reverend Idatus Added. Mr. Added, welcome to the show.
Well, greetings to all of faithful listeners and these astute panelists. We missed you, Mr. Garley and Madam Brooks. We're looking forward to having a great conversation, one that is educational for the public as well as a learning experience for me. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
we want to switch gear a little bit tonight. Why it is true that Mondays are set aside for the country and Congo divide, but there's a lot of things going on in our country, and there are a lot of trending issues. So we want to dive into some of those issues tonight. We've seen the the two elephants fighting, George Weah and Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson decided not to support George Weah this time. He said the contract was over, and according to George Weah, uh, he was been trying to, Prince was trying to blackmail him and asking for money. And George Weah said, "I'd rather give the money to the people of Liberia than to give anybody money. You don't want to support us, you can go your way." And Prince Johnson said his life was threatened. And George Weah came out and said, "Who threatening you? The people you killed that are spray running behind you, then you say somebody threatening you." So I mean, it's something I just sit down and said, "Nah, these people, do they really love Liberia, or this all by themselves?" George Weah claims that Prince Johnson is a killer, he's a murderer, but this is the same Johnson that you went to the synagogue with in to see T.D. Joshua, the late, and you went all to Nima County to support this man. Today, you're seeing the man is a murderer. The people he killed, they follow him. In the meantime, we have not heard anything about Cummings of late. What is going on? So if it's not George Weah, if it's not Joseph Boyka, and if it's not Cummings, what's that alternative? Who's going to deliver the Liberian people? These are some of the questions we'll be asking tonight. So let me bring in Mr. Adit, Idatus Adit. What do you know so far? You tell it, walk us through about some of the trending issues in Liberia. Prince Johnson is in the news. George Weah is in the news. George Weah just got you with the annual message, and you showed the people that the economy is growing and things are far better off. But hey, the Liberian people are saying they are still suffering. What is your take?
Well, personally, we have two pastors who happen to be political leader. One is the president and one is a senator.
Mm-hmm.
So we see them fighting against each other. So we are certainly going to enter a season of gutter politics.
Mm-hmm.
Where at the time when Prince Johnson supported Mr. Weah and he won the 2017 elections, it was clear that he was a good man. We saw them in Nigeria fellowshipping together. Now the MOU did not work or did not hold, has not held because of failed promises. So people are going their separate ways. As it stands now, these elections are up for grasp, not only by the incumbent, but also by opposition. And it's very clear that the Liberian people have to pay very close attention to these elections and the promises that have been made. You have a record now that you can actually look at concerning this incumbent, and you have a future promise by the opposition concerning what they will do for you. So Liberians have a great choice to make regarding their destiny and the way forward.
Grace?
Yeah, Ashwa, you see, I mean, sitting down and watching, the people, the leaders of Liberia at this time go back and forth is so much disgraceful from the Liberia that we know growing up as children. You just spoke about how we saw each other the last time, maybe in 1987, 1988. During that time, 1987, I was just a ninth grader, and you saw what we went through when we were there growing up, how things were. It was so much better because besides us being younger, we followed things on the radio, what was going on, and the way our leaders carried themselves, very sophisticated with dignity and everything. But we see these people that in leadership now in Liberia, they go to the churches, they go to different places, different arenas, and they attack one another. And it surprised me that George Weah would even say Prince Johnson is a murderer. Okay, don't get me wrong, I don't care anything about Prince Johnson. He killed so many people I knew, and during the era, my cousin Swansea Elliott lost his life brutally, and we're still affected by that today. But then you have to understand that was a war situation. So although the same Weah who is saying that refused to establish the war crimes court, as everybody wished that he would have done after he promised the Liberian people. Now, but Prince Johnson killed and he murdered people during the war, so it was wartime. But in broad daylight, when peace supposed to be in Liberia, the peace ambassador now is the president of Liberia. He sits there and see people being murdered. Gifty Lama, being murdered in broad daylight, and they're telling us that she was making love in the car with her colleague, and Barton Niswa and all those people falling down from on a one-story house and all his body part breaking and blood coming from his hair, and then you want to sit and call somebody else a murderer while murders is going on in the country, and you don't have the spine to even investigate those matters. So that's some of the things we look at. We feel sorry for Liberia. Liberia need an alternative, and later on in the show, I would try to give you information on. I think there is somebody now that has come on board that I think Liberians should start looking at, and then I will start for now.
There's somebody that has come on board, and Liberians should be looking at that person. Well, we'll listen forward to hearing the name of that person. Mrs. Addie.
Well, I don't have much to say about the Prince Johnson and George Weah fallout because and Idatus can quote the scripture if he chooses to. He can say it for me later on. The Bible said the enemies will come together in one way and they will scatter in seven different ways, and that's what we see happening. And that's all I have to say. Liberia is the prized possession here. These people, when they wanted power, all the enemies came together. At that time, they did not see each other's fault. Now, all of a sudden, when one side, the spectrum did not hold up the bark, and everything is falling apart, and that's how it is. They are being exposed right before our eyes, and thank God for the exposure, and that's all I can say to that.
Well, Mrs. Roberts, this is about Liberia now, and we all play a major role. We are the fourth estate, and we would just not sit down and allow these things to continue, especially when it has to do with our country. It affects the the common people in Liberia. Our country continue to digress. What is your take, Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley. I totally agree with the panelists. How do you have the mantle of power and accuse someone when you were the one you not where you are the one who is charged with justice and all of the powers in the country? You could bring this person to book, but you sat in bed with them, as you said, and now that things are not going your way, you're accusing them. So what I think is that the president incriminated himself because he told us that I'm not going to do that anymore. That means you've done that. So you've played with the Liberian people safety. You had the opportunity to reinstate or to instate the World Economic Crimes Court. You came back from this country when you came from the first UN General Assembly, and he was interviewed. He said, we need a peace. So why now he thinks that this man is a killer and asking the people, does he look like a killer? George Weah, how does a killer look? If we know that Prince Johnson is a killer and he walking normal and talking normal and going to church and bringing sermons and he doing the same, how does a killer look? That is my question.
Okay. Well, Idatus, the opposition is somewhere somehow saying, oh, George Weah, with the disunity between him and Prince Johnson, would now become a one-term president. But on Saturday the 4th, at the Anthony Tubman Stadium, people were saying that the whole country the whole Massachusetts County was locked down. There are people who said it took them 3-4 hours just to get back at the stadium. And we have not seen any sign of the opposition in terms of working together or to do the fight among themselves. The George Weah supporters, the CDC people are saying George Weah is going for the second term no matter what, whether with or without Prince Johnson. But the opposition, on the other hand, is saying it is over with for George Weah. What do you stand?
Well, quite frankly, I'll certainly congratulate the seditions for their turnout, whether or not they were bribed or influenced. So that was a great turnout. But let's not forget that this is just the beginning of rally. So Liberians have a consistent track record of showing up from one rally to another. In the context of the opposition, make no mistake, the fact that Prince Johnson isn't with President Weah, the LPDP, Alex Tyler, not with Mr. Weah. He also has a fractured party. The NPP is also in disarray. So these elections are up for grabs. So we just got to wait and see as the opposition have an opportunity now to petition or solicit the support of these factions who have left the Coalition for Democratic, the Congress, no, the Coalition for Democratic Change. So let's see now whether or not the Congress of Democratic Change will go into these elections. We have the history that when they went alone, they were like 28%. So let's see now if without these other parties, they were able to secure victory. So the opposition have a, quite frankly, open field to solicit these parties who have walked away from the CDC to be able to secure a victory. I'm very confident that during these times in the next few months, political parties will put up crowds that will almost be equivalent to that of the seditions who turn out at the ATS.
Grace, George Weah feels that he doesn't need Prince Johnson anymore. Given the turnout from the rally of the nomination ceremony at the Anthony Tubman Stadium, we saw Liberians show out in record-breaking numbers. And George Weah goes to church. The first thing he started to do is to call out Prince Johnson. You don't want to support us. That's no problem. You can go. I am not going to give anybody a cent. I'd rather give the money to the Liberian people and stuff like that. George Weah feels that he can win the second term without Prince Johnson. And he's confident too.
Yeah, I mean, that's his right to be confident. The thing is that I don't even think that the turnout at the Anthony Tubman Stadium was a turnout. I think it was poor.
Really?
The reason I think so is that because the president of Liberia, the sitting president, should be able to go to SKD Sports Complex and fill the place and the people be all on the streets. Anthony Tubman Stadium take up to I think 10 to 12,000 or 15,000 people. Let's say 15,000 people for a country. It's a small turnout. So they went and found a place that will have enough people to fill the place so they can and preach that same politics or the people behind me and they love me. And if people are paid $20 in a country where you can't even find food to eat, you can't even find money to buy water to drink. Definitely you give me t-shirt and you give me $20, the people will go out there, they want the money and they want to hang out, nothing's doing. Most of those people don't work, they don't have nothing to do, they got free buses, they get on there and they go there for the fun. And maybe they even gave them some refreshment, who knows? So they went there for all those things, and to be in a party. Doesn't mean at the end of the day, when election time, they're going to vote for George Weah. And the same thing had happened before when they came to that senatorial elections. They say, because the CPP were together. No, the CPP were together, but they were still in the different parties. The CPP do not have to come together to win an election against George Weah. George Weah is a one-time president. We are waiting for October for him to get out of there, for the real leader of Liberia to take his seat and lead our country forward.
Grace, when you said the turnout was not a turnout, you supported the retired suffering rally. According to Louis Brown, they wanted 20,000 people and 2,000 people showed up. And now you are saying the people that show up at the summit at the Anthony Tubman Stadium was not a crowd at all?
Louis Brown, the ANC rally was a rally. Remember, the ANC is a political party within the country. The ANC is not the leading party. George Weah government is the leading regime. When you're showing up, you have to show up in a big way. Anthony Tubman Stadium was not a place for him to carry a rally or whatsoever he was doing there, because I really don't follow them like that. But for you to be a president of the country, you are sitting president and you are footballing president. Also, you one of the Liberian favorite stars. You the only person who made football relevant as they claim, because you suppress everybody else. So how come you cannot even fill out the SKD Sports Complex? You have to go to Anthony Tubman Stadium and have 15,000 people left. Let me give it that. And you're saying that, yes, it means that the people will vote for you and you already president. You don't need other people's support. You need other people's support. I don't know what power Prince Johnson has. I don't think he should have any power like that for the president to really want him to support him. But they say, this is Liberian politics. We look at it from the other side and we know that our people are tired. They are fed up. And when come October, George Weah is going to be voted out of power, period.
Well, I'm pretty sure others would differ with you from what you just said about the turnout at the ATS. But Vera, come in.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with Grace, because if I was in Liberia and if I was jobless, if I were basically homeless, if I were hungry and had nowhere to go, nothing to eat, I certainly would have taken a T-shirt and taken the money and joined the crowd. Does that mean that me going to the crowd, does that translate to me voting for George? We are no, maybe or maybe not. So I don't blame the people for taking the money and going. I would have told them, take the money, take the T-shirt. It's just a T-shirt. It's fabric. Put it on. Get your money. Go sit there. Sit in the sun for a little couple of hours. You're done. You go home. At least at the end of the day, you got a little 2 cents in your pocket to sustain you for either the end of the day or the next day. But why not? Doesn't translate. All that the crowd over there, people turning out to go to the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium to listen to what George Weah was saying or whatever ceremony was going on, doesn't necessarily translate to a vote. It doesn't necessarily translate.
Well, Mrs. Letty Bruce Roberts, I don't know what you saw at the rally. They are saying people were giving money to show up. We say these things all the time, but would you agree that George Weah is still loved by the people of Liberia?
Yes, he is loved, and again, we equate his love to most of those people that did not know the Liberia of yesterday. All they know is today, or these past since the war. And I heard someone make the argument: if I had a T-shirt, or you, well, maybe you are the giant, maybe they would have known you, but me or says Vera or Grace, if we went to Bujumbura camp, nobody would know us. But you were a soccer star, so of course people knew you. And at that time, this is, in fact, not just that time. Currently, soccer is a big thing in Liberia. So this man is popular. But the one thing I have to say, he has campaigned for himself. The records show what he has done. So now, the people that are going, as Vera and Grace said, this is the country. When we were younger, any sound that came around, we ran to see what it was. Whether we got beaten for going or not, we were like, okay, and then you realize, oh, I can't go too far, and you run back. But this is the country where people are looking for food, crumbs. So if somebody says, oh, that man jockeying for America, or he brought some things, so everybody will run there. That's normal in our country. So this is not a thing for them to feel so proud of after we have the records of their performance. Okay? But may I add that I think they said about 5 o'clock, everybody was running at wild security under his watch. He's running the country, but everybody's running home because they needed to get home before it gets dark. So that says a lot about the very man who is leading the country.
Mr. Avid, state security is supposed to provide safety and protection for its citizens. I'm told state security was seen wearing CDC T-shirts and cap. Did they use see that? Did you hear that as well? Your phone is muted.
Yes, Mr. Garley, that is what is being talked about predominantly. That as state security are supposed to be non-political actors because they represent the state, and by wearing the political party's T-shirt questions their loyalty to the state versus the party. So yes, that is a very serious problem, and but at the same time, it remains very difficult not to conform when you have a president who's made it very clear that if you're not with him, then you are against him and potentially lose your jobs. So it's possible that people had to act psychologically as it looks like they needed to protect their jobs. So if they were told to wear the uniforms, then that's what happened. But this is the time that we're in. We have certainly an administration that has a lot of work to do as it comes to the law and many of its violations. So yes, I think that was a violation as well. That state agents will be wearing political party T-shirts.
Okay, before we go to Grace, when you need something and need something so bad that you have to work at it. People are saying Joseph Boycott with Prince Johnson disassociated himself and George Weah will instinctively become the next president of Liberia. Do you think you would just take the presidency by sitting down? George Weah is young, vibrant. This boy knows the entire country from back to him. He as a matter of fact, putting him and Boyka together, he's the only person that have toured the entire country, all 15 political subdivisions. And he has made his marks. He has done some type of development in most of those counties. Do you think, with the level of the things that he has done so far, that you think you agree with the folks that he's going to be the one-term president and Boyka will just come and then walk over him and take the presidency because the people, according to what we're hearing, are suffering. They're tired of suffering. They need a change. They want George where to go. You think is that going to happen? Idatus?
As for the voting population of Liberia, based on the next statistics, is an estimated 2 million. 2 million registered voters. Just a little over 2 million, right? The stadium has only 10,000 seating capacity. Those who were on the field, 5,000. So yes, I personally would like to say, those are seditions. But, we now, Liberians have a record now to make sound judgment as to whether or not they're comfortable with what they have now versus, what they would like to have. At first, we had to work with this celebrity and we were comfortable. I mean, those who supported him believed that he could change their lives. He's traveled the length and breadth of the country, but people are still asking the question. Monrovia has 777,000 voters. So if 15,000 people showed up, what happened to the rest of them? Let's look at Nimba. Nimba has about 272,000. Lofa, 167. Fong County, 208,000. But 15,000, an estimated 15,000 plus people showed up at the stadium. So they all have work to do. Now, don't forget, this is the first major rally by the political parties. So let's wait and see what else is there. He's traveled the length and breadth of the country, but Liberians still have to make a choice whether all of those travelings has turned out to mean something substantially economically beneficial for them. Remains to be seen at the polls.
Well, Grace, we have George Weah. We also have Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka. We have the Honorable Alexander Cummins. We have Tiawan Gonglo. We heard of Dr. Paul Wise. And now we're hearing about Dr. Clarence Moneyman. People are saying he's the next alternative. I mean, as a matter of fact, he's doing some groundwork in Liberia. But yet, people are still the two names that are on the list that George Weah and Joseph Newman Boyka. What do you make of Dr. Clarence Moneyman?
Yeah, you're seeing that now. I thank you, Ashford. You're seeing that now. The two people named on the list is George Weah and Joseph Newman Boyka. But because the people never had any other alternatives, so when the people don't have anybody that is seeing, they don't have anywhere to go. I just spoke with like at least 4 persons today, and that's exactly what they told me, that we didn't even know about anybody else. But if we're not seeing, who to vote for, and we are so desperate that George Weah is not going to have a second term in Liberia. So how do you expect us to go? We'll just take the people that's in front of us. But then when you start to see from on the other side somebody coming, it's just like when Jesus was riding to Jericho, somebody coming on the horse, and you seeing that, oh, this is you get an awakening that, dog, this is a alternative. You see something different about this person. Exactly. Then you see people start to say, okay, maybe we can go that route. And that's why when we went and saw, like me, I was just now minding my business, very discouraged about Liberian society, about the politics and everything, because I'm not a politician. But because the agendas and things that we want to do as women that fight for women's rights and children's rights and also human rights, and you sit there and you just see things going the wrong way, and the people in power not doing anything, and then the people who are presented to you, you're not seeing really the substance that you're really looking for. Because when you see somebody who is sincere and has the experience and has the knowledge, to deliver, you see that, and then ish on the side, all those things. And I was sitting there, and somebody just dropped Dr. Moniba information into my inbox, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, let me go and look. So I started to do my research, and I started reading about him. I went on his page, and I saw some of the work that he had done and the way that he spoke to the people. I saw in his face sincerity, and I started to say, oh my goodness, this man, something about him, this is, to me, he's the clear alternative. And then I went to his plan for Liberia, and he laid the plan out, and he tell you how he will execute the plan. Unlike the other candidates that you just see they lay the plan up, but they can't tell you how they will execute the plan, how they will do it, the amount of yes it would take, and nothing. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is the clear alternative. This man has if he pushed forward, he could bring something different to Liberia. And maybe this is the change that we need. And he have a youth on his side. So he's a young gentleman, and he has all this experience. He also have the education. Besides that, he has the personality to interact with the people. So because I see every videos he has interacting with the people geared towards him, and the way he explained himself, I said, but then this is a clear alternative. So I'm looking into him very strongly. I think that he will change Liberia. I don't see the candidate that the people put out there, because firstly, I'm a God-fearing person. When God ready to do things, we don't understand it. But he's coming like the drove that the Barack Obama came with, that door-to-door groundwork. Because everywhere I call that we're doing our mission work in Liberia, when I call the people there and ask them, you heard about Dr. Clarence Maniba? I said, oh, yeah, we know him. Oh. I said, oh, but they may be doing a lot of work. So there we are.
Grace, that's the Liberian people problem. We should know by now how Liberians vote. First off, they have to know you. Number two, they have to like you. Because if they don't know you and they don't like you, you're wasting your time. Cummings never left Liberia since 2017. He's still struggling to make impact. Yeah, you are with Clarence Moniba with less than 10 months to election, and you were saying he's the next alternative?
Yes, because when you see something different and you know it's going to be successful, you will see it and you will know it. The reason why I say is that you said Cummings staying in Liberia since 2017. Did you read Dr. Moniba bio? Dr. Moniba has been in Liberia. He served in the government with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He was on her team. He did not make it about himself to be called, oh, honorable. I'm honorable. Nobody really heard about him like that. They knew he was there, he was working, but he never made it about himself. He made it about the country. So people already know this man. So he decided to come 8 months and some few days to the election. It could happen. It could happen. We were sitting in America here and we were watching TV and everybody was voting for Hillary Clinton and people were hailing her. And Barack Obama came, they knew him from nowhere. He was just a senator, and nobody really knew him. But the way he carried on his campaign and the people started to gear towards him, he became president of America. So you cannot look at that and say, oh, he came in late and the people don't know him, because the people do know him. If you call right now, take your phone and call somebody in Maryland and you ask for Clarence Moniba, they will tell you, say they know him. So it's us in the diaspora not knowing these things going on, but the people in Liberia, they are so sick and tired of being sick and tired. So when they see something good, they know it. So I believe that if he continues strong on his campaign, he will probably be the next president of Liberia. I strongly believe it. I hope this video be recorded, because we'll come back and you will say, Grace, you said it.
Vera, sitting in the diaspora on Facebook and talking about the alternative or talking about the next president is one thing. In Liberia, it's a totally different ball game. Grace is saying the alternative has come, and she sees Clarence Moniba as the next president of Liberia. What is your take?
I mean, thank God for an alternative. That's what I can say, because everybody on the scene got their plus and minuses, and they have their own shortcomings in trying to connect with the people in some way or form. Everybody got some issues going on. I mean, with Dr. Moniba, like Grace said, I went and read about him, And I instantly connected to him, you know, without going so deep. I just read part of his bio without going so deep. And then I continued to do research on him. But my thing is that who are we to say, and I said this to Grace, I said, you know what? When the way I view things, I don't look at it in the spirit. I just don't look at it only in the spiritual, in the physical realm. I look at things from the physical in the spiritual aspect also. Who are we to determine what time someone's supposed to get in a race and what it means for them to get in a race that it is late? You don't control time. Time and seasons are divine. It is controlled by God. God can call anybody at any minute to jump into any situation as long as they are called by God. There is no situation that God cannot turn around. We don't know. He's in there. He's going to campaign like everybody else. The people are gravitating towards him, especially the youth. And we all know the youth population in Liberia is over 60 to 75%. And for me, as long as that group of people, that generation of people are gravitating towards him, because that's a generation whose future is at stake right now. And that's the generation that's looking to him, that's gravitating towards him. Go to his page and see the amount of young people that are under there, and people who are emailing and say they want to be a part of the grassroots, and people who have joined the grassroots process. For me, look, there is a time and a season for everything under the sun, like the Bible says. When you have reached a certain age in life, you have to retire. That is why God instituted the age of 70. And after 70, that by reaching a strength. They think that what old people don't want to get off the scene. We will make sure we institute retirement age in Liberia. They want to what's in. They tell me the young children in the future being stolen. They tell running behind all these people who are already lived out their dreams and aspirations.
Don't talk about
when
the old
are the
people.
young people gonna live out their dreams and aspirations?
The old people got wisdom. Don't talk about the old people that out.
No. Not all the. I ain't talking about no specific old people. Not all the old people have wisdom. Old age does not mean wisdom. They got some old people who are not wise at all. So that thing what like when people can come, old age that wisdom, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Now, not all the old people got wisdom. Some of the old people, they problematic more than anything under the sun here. My thing is that the future is for the young people of Liberia, and the young people of Liberia has to lead. And Dr. Clarence Moniba, what we see in him, he reflects the population in Liberia. He reflects the new generation in Liberia. And I think Liberians should gear towards him. When I talk to my people, I'm straight up with them. You got dreams and aspirations. Do you want to outsource your dreams and aspirations to someone who has already lived out theirs? Is that what you want to do? Think about it. And I direct them to go read about him. It's good to have alternatives. You know, everybody can go in the direction in which they want to go, but it's on us to do our research and see who we want to push.
I said, if you're in Grayson, you're not seeing the open. Going to about coming again. Mr. Robert.
So y'all talk about comments. You heard about comments. What I'm talking about comments.
People have always said Cummings was in fact doing well. I mean, he
but he is doing well.
He's doing well, but we were never on his. We were never like.
Okay, thanks for the clarity.
As far I want to say, Cummings is doing well. That's why I said everybody who's running campaign is doing what they have to do. Everybody is doing well, but we just have another alternative on the scene. He is doing well. Nobody is discounting him.
We have another alternative that is energetic. We need to set a time frame on the retirement age. When the people older, they need to retire. People that Shimon and Fanny Shimon and then they put, can you give me another chance? You already old, Papa. Go retire. Enjoy the rest of your life. You be eating some palm butter, get somebody money and drive it. Seriously,
please tell your attorney that he has to cross the bridge. Bridge radio is here. Yeah? When he comes to America, following his nationwide tour in Liberia, he needs to make a stop at a bridge radio.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. I'm just going to read a few comments before you ask me any question.
Okay.
I have River says Pro who says, really? You don't know that Prince Johnson is a killer? I guess that's when we were talking about him. And we have turned Johnson over to the WCC. That's from Albert Moore. We have Philip Paswa. He said, point of correction. The Giants It wasn't just Montserrat County, but the entire country. I guess that turned blue on Saturday. Then we have Riverside Pro replying to Ruth Salif. I am not saying it should continue. All I am saying is it happened before. If you do not acknowledge to if you do not acknowledge something, it will repeat. And that is to say, in 1987, 1988, Samuel K. Doe was still killing and 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 locking people out. He cannot pretend that all was paradise. So that's what he replied to. But here are a few other comments. Yamako Krenga, ABC, she says, ABC, ABC. We have Daniel Harris. He said, opposition disorganized themselves already. I believe George Weah will win again. Wellington Blair says, thank you. Hawa Sony, it was paid to go. Louis Gomba, he says, watching from Trenton, New Jersey. Good evening, guys. We have another comment from Emmanuel Jackson. Greed is a major problem. This little country can't be peaceful and developing. We can't enrich ourselves from government coffers, few individuals selling out the natural resources and not enriching the people. Expect a civilized, progressive society. The vicious cycle continues in 2023. Jocelyn Pitikwa says, Bromley girls turn women are great speakers and motivators. Nice to see you both, Grace and Vera. Anna Nat is watching. We have Pa Limpopo. He said, my Oma, you need to wake up. Philip Paswa, I like how Madam Grace is saying it with confidence. And then we have Solomon now. There were lots of intimidations from government during Attire rally. Two more, and then I'll get back to you. I have Solomon now saying, yesterday rally, no permit, no reroute, and no police intimidation. Back to you. We have Amos George watching, Charlene Dunbar, Margaret Yamba Morris, and few others. You're all welcome. Continue.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Robin.
Ashford, just before you come in, I just wanted to make a quick comment 1 second. You know, Liberians, they always calling other people killers. And Liberians, when they say you are a killer, it means that you took the gun and shot somebody. A lot of people saw Prince Johnson shooting people and killing them and knew he executed people. But you know how many other Liberians in Liberia who are killers who never used the gun? Liberians need to ask themselves that. Because there were people who pointed out other people lie on them and they got killed and they didn't use the gun. They just called the people with the guns to kill them. They themselves are killers too. So when Liberians start to point fingers at those who are killers, they look in the mirror. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, we'll take a few calls and then when we come back.
Well, but Mr. Garley, I didn't respond to.
No, let's take a few calls and we'll come to you.
Okay.
And, then we'll also talk about the visits in other places in the diaspora by the former vice president. People would complain about his health. Now, Mr. Boyka is showing up at places. I mean, going outside, going to see people play pool and all that good stuff. So, when we come by, you will take the lead on that one. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Yeah, I'm Terry.
He's very low, Mr.
Caller, say your name again. The 612 number.
My name is Ojugu Ensage.
No, 612 number.
My name is Ojugu Ensage.
Okay, you calling from Minnesota, right?
No, I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Okay, Rhode Island caller. Hold on 1 minute. There was a caller before you. The 612 number.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go ahead, caller. 612. Tell us your name. 612, the last 4 digits, 3168.
Yeah, this is Terry calling from Minnesota.
Okay, you got 1 minute, please.
Yeah, I think that people should not be carried away by crowds. What we need to understand that George, we have put on the largest crowd ever before 2020, during 2011, 2017. And his first round voters came up to 30-something%. So voting in Liberia is about numbers. There are certain places, George, we have to win in order for him to secure his second term. And that crowd we put up cannot justify that. You understand? There are so many people that feel disenchanted right now due to what is going on in Liberia. So I do not want to guarantee that President Weah has the second term.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will Island. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing? My name is Ojugo Nayutaye. I'm calling from East Providence, Rhode Island.
Ojugo, how you doing? I'm better than good. Go ahead.
I just want to start with politics in Liberia is about the number, it's about noon, it's about the attachment, it's about name. We know that Moniba, that 10 good years we were in service. And our people, they relate to every other thing you do. This is why they taught me. This is why they taught me cannot come back to power. So I know that she may mean well, and according to and what she her narration and by the way she knows she. I'm so proud, and I just want to tell that I'm giving a lot of people they are ready for money back. But from my point though, I think what we could do, we relationship we should look at it. We have a voting power to help.
All right.
Because if we look at our voting power here, maybe we can influence and vote back on.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah. So
thank you. Your time is up. Okay. I want to go to.
I don't think that Bumbo ready for another money box. Trust me, I don't think so.
Thank you. 503. Tell us your name. The last four digits of your number, 8164.
Y'all a nice one.
Yeah, Mr. Garley, good afternoon.
I'm better than good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. My name is Lucien Barnett, calling from Philadelphia.
Is that the 503 number?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, thank you for the show and thank you for the education. And I want to say thanks to the partners. I just wanted to respond to Third Grace when she was talking about Malba is the alternative. You see, Mr. Garley, like just what you say. When you look at like doing politics today, basically it has to do with the people knowing you. And that's one of the things that we're always forgetting about, especially we that in the diaspora. We think that because we come from the United States and spend all those years here without not interacting with our people often, and going back and want to occupy the higher seat of the land, they will just give it to us like bread and butter. It doesn't work like that in Liberian politics. If people got to know you, one, you got to be legible by the people. Two, to be able to get access to that seat. And that's why people like Mr. Mulva, he's a young man, he has a lot of vision. This is what we want to see. Like for me, I want to see young people in our politics, young, energetic, young people with a vision. But we got to be able to meet our people. Now we're ready to sit down until when one presidency don't want to go see our people.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 1441-832 is the area code. Tell us your name.
Yeah, my name is Andrews, and I'm calling from Kentucky.
Okay.
And this is my first time watching the show because somebody shared the link with me. I got a couple of issues. First, the gentleman, I saw his video. I want to be president, the young guy. But my problem is, we said we want to change Liberia. In my view, Liberia presidency, Liberia problem is not with the presidency. We're supposed to have eloquent people in the House and the Senate to make good laws that would benefit Liberia instead of just running for the president. Because I have nothing personal against the gentleman. I saw his video and I made my comment on his video. I think he said a lot of wonderful things, and he's young, he's eloquent, he's educated. I think he should start from somewhere. Because I'm not trying to make decisions for him or suggest to him. But going back to everybody, I agree with one of the sisters over there. We should have limitation. People, when you take 70, You don't need to be start running to be president for Liberia or trying to leave Liberia.
Thank you.
I'm totally against. Totally against that.
Thank
But,
you.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we have a 267 number, 4369. Tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Myers Jr. calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Mr. Myers, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I have two concerns, though. The first concern that I have nothing against Joseph Yeman Boakai, but just looking at Liberia and where we are right now, if we are talking about change, let me go back and start with Opon. George Opon Weah was a senator. No bill and no law passed by this individual. I mean, he placed himself in a situation where competent people saw this individual was incompetent to become president, and he worked his way due to his celebrity status. So what difference is he going to make in the presidency? So that is my issue and concern that I have with Liberian people. Individuals that want to be president. I got nothing against the old man. He buy his time. He's a stiff man. But his age and his health right now will not permit him to execute the duties and functions of the presidency.
Thank you, sir. That's the voice of Gabriel Myers from Atlanta, Georgia. Our last caller, then we'll go back to the panelists. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Darius. I'm calling from Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, you have 1 minute, sir. Go ahead with your statement.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the panelists. But one thing people forgetting to know is age. We live in America here. The person that we have right now in America, his age, you compare with Joseph Boakai age, they're the same age. We're not looking for age right now. We're looking for someone with governmental experience. And Joseph Yeman Boakai has all the governmental experience. President Weah has failed us. We are Liberian people. I'm from Nima County. I'm a son of Nima. Me and Prince Johnson, we don't get along. But for the statement by President Weah using the church a few days, he used Prince Johnson to come to power. And at the end of the day, look at what he's telling Prince Johnson now. So I am standing with Prince Johnson, and President Weah will be one-time president. I don't care what they do. We will make sure President Weah will be one-time president. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm not a medical doctor to determine whether or not Ambassador Boycott is now well, and I think we should be careful the way we say things. You know, Mr. Boycott knows himself very well. I mean, you see him walking around, showing out to events and places. You know, whether it's true that you won't be concerned about his age or health. He continued to say that he's healthy, and the followers are saying he's healthy. Speaking of Ambassador Boycott's health, I would like Idatus to respond to the previous comments. Then we can begin with Mr. Boycott's presence in the United States. Idatus.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garley. It's very clear that Joseph Boycott remains the most formidable candidate to the current incumbent. That candidate has put forth a very simple vision: food security, agriculture, human capacity building, education. Joseph Boycott's vision for Liberia is clear and simple. We're not looking for people who will come and demonstrate that, oh, they are educated. No, we're looking for men of integrity. Liberia has no shortage in education. We have a shortage in integrity. And Joseph Boycott, in my opinion, brings that reality. Now, many Liberians don't understand when you consistently mention his age, you are actually demonstrating discrimination or prejudice. We're advocating for a young man such as Africa, smart, astute, intelligent young man, 43 years old, but make no mistake. Make no mistake. I certainly encourage his ambition. He's from Lofa. You know, he's Bandi. He's from Salahon, Vahon, Kolahon. And most likely he will certainly galvanize votes. But make no mistake in this, in our politics, it's about popularity, pride before institution. Popularity has to do with name recognition. And Joseph Boycott remains the most formidable candidate, consistent with the fact that 4 presidents in our history have called on Mr. Boycott to perform his services, and he's demonstrated expertise, experience, and intelligence. Who are they? President Willamara Talbot, President Samuel Kayando, Dr. Amos Sawyer, and then now President Shirley. What did they see in this statesman to consistently ask him to work with them to the echelon of power that we can all now see? So make no mistake, he's a man of integrity. He brings a vision that is simple, intended to build the life of the Liberian people. And, integrity matters to me. And this may not be an open endorsement, but I think in the context of our politics, consistent with the fact that Lofa has 167,000 people, I'm sure he will carry his county. Thank you.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, this is Ashford Garley Live on British Radio Africa. Mr. Alexander Brown, congratulations. You celebrated your birthday with the last few days. Happy belated birthday. And let us show hope that you live to see many more birthdays to come. Mr. Prince M. Dauber, this is Washington from Kentucky. Valentine, Precious, Best Man, you are all welcome. Grace, Vera, Mr. Added is frowning on those who consistently talk about the age of Ambassador Boykai. Grace?
I don't think Reverend Ade should be frowning on those people that talk about the Ambassador Boykai's age, because at the end of the day, age has to do with a lot of things that goes on in our lives. So although we can't sit here and say Ambassador Boykai is sick because we don't know him like that, and it's not because you old means that you're sick. But in the meanwhile, we have to look at the reality that, the lifespan of Liberians, especially those that live in Liberia, is a certain age. I mean, I think it should be around 60. When you have 64, Liberian men live up to 64. It means that they live the longest of their lives. So Liberians coming to say that, the Ambassador Boykai is an older man, you have to understand from whence they come. And we are not taking away from Ambassador Boykai. He paid his dues. I mean, he served in so many different governments, and he did all of that. But is it a time for a change? Are we going to continue bringing these people that all already serve, and we have not seen real results? So we have to look at other people that come into play. Ambassador Boykai is an older man, he served. Dr. Moniba is a younger man that served. Dr. Moniba has the experience. He worked in government. He's known by the international community. This man had paid his dues in Liberia as well. So leadership is a gift. It has nothing to do with age. So it has nothing to do with whether the person served in 500,000 government, and so because of that, they warrant the country to be given to them. No. So we will all run the campaign, and we will all tell our people who to vote for. And I mean, if I see how the campaign is going, I really don't know the man like personally, but I think that he's coming, and I see a fire that coming with him. They are saying now that he's not known in Liberia, but that's why we think in the diaspora. But if you get on the ground in Liberia, the people know the man, because we are calling on people that we are interacting with in different countries, and when you call his name, they know him. This man is doing a grassroots campaigning in Liberia. You say the diaspora Liberian don't know him, we understand, but the people in Liberia, they do know him. And then what more you people want? When it comes to the age, he's on the right side of the age, because the youth population is huge in Liberia. When it comes to experience, he served with United Nations. He served in the Liberian government. He made his mark. He did not make it about himself because he's a homo man, or else you will hear his name, Honorable Moniba, Honorable, the usual thing that they do. But he made it about his job. So he has the experience. He has the international connection. What more you want? If you want Boykai, you see Boykai in him with the experience. If you want Cummings, you see Cummings in him with the international connection. So he is the deal, and he has age on his side. So what more Liberians can want at this point?
Thank you.
You have to look at the real alternative, and I think it's Moniba. That's
Thank
why.
you.
May I respond to that, Ashford?
Yeah, I want you to respond, and besides following your response, I want you to work out some things so we can get Ambassador Boykai on the show probably this week or early next week. Go ahead. That is.
Most definitely. So, what is very interesting when you talk about Mr. Boyka's experience, folks, at his age, when you talk about his, his contribution to Liberia, then it becomes his health. So, this is the most transparent candidate in the race, whose health is a public record. But we don't know the health of other politicians. We have young people dying every day in Liberia. The life expectancy of people in Liberia is 63, 64. Joseph Boyka is 78 years old. Under those difficult medical conditions, we've had young people dying, and Mr. Boyka is still alive and working in the interest of the Liberian people. A man who, under his experience in government, served as the first chairman for the West African Rice Development, because Liberia was a model under this gentleman. Listen, sometimes we need to sit on the old map to plot the new map. And if his legacy doesn't speak for anybody now, I believe Joseph Boyka remains Liberia's alternative in the context of his integrity and contribution of service to Liberia. This man has also worked with the World Bank. He has a business background, not to mention the fact that he worked in agriculture as his field of concentration. What Liberia needs now is food security, of a government who has yet to explain to us what happened to the $11 million when we can have a person whose vision is about agriculture, human capacity building through education. What more can you have?
Okay, now
It means a whole lot.
before we go to Vera, we'll take one more caller. But just before we take that caller, Charlene Doma is saying, please name 6 contributions that Boyka has made to Liberia.
You don't make me lose my thought here. Oh.
You won't. You have to answer that question, please.
All right. So, President Talbot, he was the chairman. Liberia became a model for rice development. President William R. Talbot, water. Samuel Kayendo, as well as Talbot, we were doing mechanized farming, where country rice was being produced through all the length and breadth of Liberia. LPMC became a vibrant government parastatal for the production and cultivation of rice and export of cocoa under Joseph Boyka. These are just the name of few. Now, under President Shirley as vice president, we all know William R. Talbot was under Tubman for 19 years. We heard nothing about him. The vice president is a ceremonial position, and that is why Mr. Cummings doesn't want to be a vice president. But under President Shirley, he did what he had to do to ensure that Liberia, gets the best of his service. Under Madam Shirley, he was there as an advisor, and yes, he said, I wanted to do more, but I couldn't because of the ceremonial constraints of our political governance. But here he is now ready to leave Liberia and leave a legacy that we can all reflect on. And on this note, I'll stop here.
Thank you. Okay, Vera, before we take our last caller.
Okay, I just wanted to say to Idatus, we have to be careful when we explain things, because here you are saying this and that about Dr. Monimba. He's young, and the GMB, he did this and he did that. But what you fail to realize is that Dr. Monimba worked with GMB in Ellen's government too. So when the campaign start, the campaign, like you say, it will be in the gutter. So there are a lot of things we will hear when the campaign start, because Dr. Monimba knows GMB very well. He works with him, and there are some things that when revealed, the Liberian people, their brows are gonna go up. And we Liberian people, I hate to hear this thing, sit on old mat to plant new mat. We need to be careful with our statement, because it really does not make any sense. Because some mat are so old and infested, there's nothing good you can get from it to go. Don't laugh, Ashford.
Oh my God.
There's nothing good you can get from it to plant any new mat. You just gotta go to a whole new material to start from somewhere else. And besides that, we are in a new age. Why do we want to go sit on the old mat to plant new mat when we have all the modern technology, we have all the new ideas and things coming out? Even in the Bible, it said the young will lead and the old will advise. What happened to the old advising and the young leading? Everybody wanted young people to outsource their dreams and aspirations to the old people who have already lived out their dreams and aspirations. Something is wrong with that picture. When will our young people ever have the chance to live out their own God-given gifts and aspirations, when we always have to put the old people JMP then live out their life. All the old, not even just JMP alone, all the old people who vying for positions, they have lived their year. They were young boy, they were teenagers, they were young boy, they ran around, they were in their 20s, some of them married 3, 4, 10 times. They had reached 70 the year that God promised, and still they say they can't sit down. Still they telling you who 40-year old. Or you who 30-year old, you must sit down and stay in nations. They must die and be in the grave. Then by the time they die in the grave, then you are saying now be 60. Then at the time they will be hailing you, or oh now you 60. You've been around enough. So we will pull you up because you can't wisdom. What wisdom you have? Your wisdom will always suppress. This is the time for the youth. We are in the 21st century. We're not in no sitting on old mats and plotting new mat century. That time is gone. Liberia belongs to the youth. The future belongs to the youth. We were adult children ages when they walk in. Our parents, I was telling Grace, I said our parents were at their peak. We were in our prime. Walking and it stole all of our visions and aspirations from Liberia. Why do we now want to sit and look at our brothers and sisters in Liberia in that category to lose theirs when there's no war going on? They're telling them they must outsource their whole life to somebody who has lived out this. They may what he call me. I know they say 42 years, 45 years. What more? What more? He should have 100 years under his belt before we are satisfied. What more? No, man, y'all stop it. Y'all can't be doing nothing to the young people. The young people in Liberia, if y'all are listening to Ashford Garley, so let me tell y'all something. Y'all need to rise up and y'all need to put your foot down because your future being stolen right before you. Somebody told me, say, oh, but George, we are a young president. He was a young man too, and they voted George. We are not because he was young. They voted him because he played football. That was his own thing. What they put him inside for. It was not because his age. It was because his football he played. The young boy in Liberia. After 1 second.
1 second.
You're not letting them steal your future or letting them on how the devil or steal people's future. You're not taking. You go for your own young boy. When you look at your young boy, you look at money back, you see yourself in money back. That way you must be here.
I said money back.
Our future was to our future, and we can't lie.
Before you come in, Mrs. Roberts, let me take the last caller. I think it's an international call. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Okay, good morning from my end. My name is Elijah Grosson, and I do join you from East Africa.
East Africa, welcome to the show. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. I sometimes have problem with people whenever they bring white guy against the Liberian people, because you're measuring experience. If we're talking about experience, man, Ellie Johnson said he had all of the experience, but yet and still Liberia is where it is today. So experience cannot take Liberia anywhere. We need hands-on. Hands-on can take Liberia somewhere. It's not experience. Joseph Boaga serving government for a lot of years that they are making measure of. There's nothing even a village people can benefit of. There's nothing they can show us. We the young generation. Like this man has spent 40 plus years in government. This is his achievement. This is what we the young generation can see physically to tell us that yes, all of his years in government, this is his achievement. Show us something. We need physical or viewing some stuff to see that this guy, this papi has served in government. So I mean, age, experience is not Liberian problem right now. Liberian problem is hands-on.
Thank you.
Who can drive the economy, the young people to get job, who can create an environment for people for the country to move forward in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of education, in terms of good health care, in terms of electricity affordable. So there's nothing, this is not about experience. It's about who has the capability, the hands-on activity to do for Liberia. It's not about experience. You can spend 50 years in government with no experience.
Thanks for calling. Okay, we'll go to let's wrap
it. Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just wanted to add why this is not a show of which candidate you like, but I just want to be fair in the fact that we are talking about the candidates. I just want to also say what change that we're looking for, we also want to be thankful that we have a bigger playing field. Thank God for this young man that you guys are talking about, Mr. Moliba. However, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings is also an alternative. He has the private sector, and he can also build the government. So it's not only this Boyka and Moliba. Boyka also, yes, he's a great statesman. He has served, and just as the caller said, what has he done? Yes, you may have been constrained because of your second in command and advisory role. However, you could have done things in your own community. They say character begins at home. So what did he do in his community or in his hometown to boast of, for which Liberia should give him a platform for a person who has served so long? We have other alternatives. Give ABC people the opportunity to come here and sell him as well. Since we have turned into a sales thing, I think we're talking about this current government who has taken this country to in left field. So if we want change, let's give all of these great alternatives and let the Liberian people choose, because this current situation is definitely we don't want a repeat of it. So let's put all of the candidates on board. ABC candidates, Patterson, when you have the time, please reach out to us and we can bring you on to sell your candidate as well.
Well, the ABC candidate have appeared on several occasions, like what the CDC candidate as well. But again, the invitation is open to all of them. They can come. Mr. Bobby Wiles, Mr. Willie Dubbard, I want to say thank you, my very supportive partner. Willie Dubbard is watching tonight from somewhere in Philly. And we also want to say hi to Bobby Wiles and William Clark. Sure, we'll be having a great time tonight. Well, folks, I want to say a big thanks to all of you for taking enough time in joining us tonight. This Friday is the political soccer game. You don't want to miss it. There are a lot of interesting players that will be on the field this Friday. I'm telling you, murder has taken a different trend now in terms of soccer, and Black Miller is also on the field with a different tactic. Wire fraud. I mean, all the big time players will be on the field this Friday for the political soccer game. We now want to go around the room and get the parting comments from all of you, 2 minutes each. I will begin with Mrs. Grace Corentin Goa. Your 2 minutes start now.
Why you always like to begin with me? Yeah, Ashford, I mean, thank you for having us on, and I would like to say that if you are bringing the panelists on the different political parties, I'm not going to be a part of that. And the reason is that I'm not the representative of Moneyba. I am, regular citizen who saw the good in somebody, and I just decided that I would speak about it when you asked me the question. But I'm not going to say that because I know the opposition, the politics is to attack one another. They are bullying one another. And I don't want to be a part of that. I think Moneyba strategy is going to be different because you can see on his page the way he carried on, the people that behind him, the way they carry on is kind of different. I wish to join his team if I'm allowed, but the way they carry on is different. So I'm not going to play that body politics with Liberian people. You come here and then one person attack, the other person respond. No, this is a new Liberia. We are in the 21st century, and it's going to change. And maybe Moneyba now is the one that will bring the change. I would say, who do you see yourself in? That's the question. Do you see yourself in as a youth of Liberia, where Liberia, the population of the youth is the highest? Do you see yourself in an older president that when rainy season time, if they even talk about agriculture, they will not be able to go on the ground to see what's going on? The way President Toba used to go from ministry to ministry to check whether the minister they went to work. Do you see yourself in that kind of president, or do you see yourself in a younger president that will be energetic, working in the office at the same time, staying long hours, or working overtime at the same time, going on the field to see what's going on? And I will also say Liberians are ready for a change. The change cannot come by hoping. because every time, especially the CDC slogan, "Oh, hope for change," and the people have been hoping for 6 years and nothing happened. So you cannot continue to hope and hope and hope or no work being done for your hope to come to fruition. So you have to open your eyes. I will not say much here because I'm not, representing anyone, but I'm just saying what we see, the grassroots movement that's going on. We are not living on Facebook. We have a lot of work doing in Liberia, myself, so we interact with the people on a daily basis.
Thank
That
you.
boy is coming with fire, and he's going to turn Liberia around. If you ask me today, if they're doing the election, who you should vote for, I would tell you, say vote for Dr. Clarence Moniba. He is the clear alternative that will change Liberia for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Goa. Vera, your 2 minutes.
Yeah, and just like Grace, we didn't come on here to sell any particular candidate because we are not.
But you're selling mobile tonight.
No, we're selling. We are saying what we see in him and how we believe that he is the right alternative for Liberia. That's what we are selling. So he has his team that speaks for him. We do not speak for him, and that's what we are saying. Just like all the candidates out there, who people go and research them and they see something about them and they are drawn to them. That's how we are drawn to him. And so you ask her a question, and we are saying why we believe in him and why we believe he's the best for Liberia, but we do not speak for him. Therefore, when you bring up other political surrogates, we cannot come on here to speak on his behalf. Maybe some of his surrogates will be listening. They will come on, but it wouldn't be us. And just like Grace said, to the Liberian people, 60 to 75% of Liberia is youth. When you look at Dr. Clarence Moniba, do you see yourself in him? Or do you see yourself in somebody else? That's the question you need to be asking. You should go and research him. You should look at his platform because this man has been on the ground for a while. From what he has his foundation, he's been doing a lot of work with the youth. He has built places. He has done a lot of good things in Liberia. He has a lot of international connections too. So it is good that they go and look him up. We are not here to speak for him, but that is what we see in him, and that is the direction we are taking. And we are telling our people to go and research him and vote for him. But we will not be on here speaking for him. Liberia needs a change. Like I said, I hate the thing where they talk about old Matt and new Matt, even though it's a good thing, it's referencing your past. But that old Matt thing there, not every old Matt you can sit on to plat a new Matt because you will get nowhere. You will be platting forever because some of the old Mats are so destroyed. There is no real direction to take from there to plat the new Matt. We are in a new age. We are in the 21st century. Take the 21st century Matt and plat for it and move Liberia forward.
Thank you, Vera. Mr. Adi.
Ashford, one thing I am a bit confused by my sister panelists. One minute they aren't here to support any particular candidate or sell any particular candidate, and they do not want to be a part of the show because they don't want people attacking them. But quite frankly, that's exactly what both of them have done. They consistently attack Mr. Boyka's health and his age, render him as one who lacks vision. When I was talking about Mr. Moneyba, I never criticized him. I say he's a young, energetic man as afforded by the Constitution to run. But the fact remains very clear that Mr. Boyka has a foundation that was established in 2018 that has donated medical ambulances to the family hospital. He has secured with respect to agriculture.
Because Vera and
Hello?
Grace, Vera and Grace are saying the old market change and the change and when people
right. So but you see the last time I checked, this old map, if corruption is a crisis in Liberia, this old map has never been audited for any corruption. In fact, Mrs. Salif audited her own government, and not one evidence or iota of truth that this old map has been found to be corrupt in any administration that he has served in with distinction. The truth remains, Mr. Boyka has given a lot of things to Liberian people. He donated fairly to the people of Grand Bassa County. He has secured 127 acres of land in Bonney County to do agriculture. He's partnered with the United Medical Church to help empower youth and girls. So he is giving back to his country. So when people ask me what has he given back to Liberia, I would like to suggest that you go and look at the Joseph Yuma Foundation. and read about him concerning what he's done. That's what I did. I'm certainly not against Mr. Cummings. I also think he may be a valuable asset to Liberia. He has his 5 pillars that he's able to, quite frankly, articulate for the Liberian people. I too read about Mr. Boyka, and I felt that, you know what? This man, who happens to be an old mat, has yet to demonstrate stains of corruption, which is a crisis now with this youthful generation that needs to be addressed. In the likes of Ellen Johnson's relief government, the youthful people that participated, she audited her own government and could not account for X number of dollars, took responsibility for the fact that her son could not account for $10 million US. So these are the realities for our time. We need people of integrity, expertise, and experience to make a difference for Liberia. And age has nothing to do with it. Joe Biden is 80 years old. He's not the first oldest president that Liberia will have a privilege to enjoy his service. I make no apologies for this.
Thank you. We'll see you guys back on next Monday, and then maybe Wednesday again. We're going to go hard as it relates to Liberian politics. I want to go to my co-host now with a parting comment. Bob K. Bullet. Thanks for the production tonight.
Ashford, just before you get to Letty, can you please? I just wanted to say on to talk about the country.
You know, I don't have time tonight.
Oh, you tell them we came out from the country and Congo T5, and we ended up somewhere. So the next time we on, it would be for that topic. That's
okay. Yeah. So I certainly agree. Go ahead, Letty.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, my fellow panelists. It's always a great opportunity to have you all here. It's, this is not, again, in any way to tell you that I want you guys to debate anybody, but I just feel when we share, this platform and start talking, as, Mr. Adictus said, and you guys brought up Malibu, it's a great opportunity that we have another option for Liberians to choose.
Absolutely.
Me, that's what I'm talking about. So
absolutely.
It's always good to know that we want our people to have options, and even if he's a spoiler, that's fine. But we cannot afford to have the same 6 years that we've had. So if Liberian people can just open their eyes from all of the the positive that you have said about these candidates, we pray that they can read about them as well, and with the advertisement, the free publicity they're getting from some of us, that's good. But we need alternatives, and that's what we have. So I thank you. Good to have you back, Mr. Giant. This platform is all yours.
Well, folks, that's all the time I have to be with you. God willing, I will be back Wednesday night with some more great programming on your favorite platform. And then I want to say thanks to Grace. I want to say thanks to Vera, my brother and a friend, Idatu Sadid, and of course my co-host, Letty Brooks Roberts. Until then, Father, want to give you praise, want to magnify your name. Blessed be your holy name forever. Thanks for giving us the breath that we breathe on a daily basis. We appreciate you, we love you, and we'll continue to love you. Thank you, mighty God. In the name of Jesus, we pray, folks. Until I catch you, remember, tough times don't last, tough people do. The heart of a man is never known until he rises, because there's no second chance to make that first impression. The golden voice, Africa's media do be doing extraordinary. The master of the microphone, and I'm telling you, he's the broadcast commissioner. Yours truly. Joseph Cheer. Folks, good night.
Thank you.
Good night, and thank you all.